So today we are going to do a giant winter book haul. These are all the books that I've collected since November. It is a lot more than I was expecting, but I'm gonna try and get through this as fast as I can because I did not mean to buy this many books. If you hear any weird background noise, Owl is in quiet time, but she's playing with toys that make music, and Jared is home because it's the weekend and he's playing video games down the hall. Sometimes things in the airplane game get a little bit intense. I'm gonna get right into this though because there's just too much here. There's so much. So the first book that I have here is The Final Empire by Brandon Sanderson. I also got The Well of Ascension and The Hero of Ages. I'm obviously not going to go through what all three books are about, but essentially the first book is sort of set kind of around like a heist scenario. It was really, really good. I have an entire video where if you've read it, there's spoilers, and if you haven't read it, the beginning is spoiler free. I will put it up above me. I think it's this corner. I'm not going to go into depth about this. It was amazing. I absolutely loved it. Loved every single minute of so if you want to see my in-depth thoughts about this, click that card up above. I got the Alloy of Law, Shadows of Self, and the Bands of Mourning. I think that's the order that they're supposed to go in, but I'm not entirely sure. I'd have to like look inside. But I did get the second set. I've heard that there's a fourth book, but I don't know if it belongs with these or if it's part of another set. I'm not sure, but these are like the second installment of the Mistborn series, I guess. Looking forward to reading these at some point. They are much less hefty than the other three, so I feel like they'll be a lot faster to get through. The next book that I have here is And Every Morning the Way Home Gets Longer and Longer by Frederick Bachmann. I absolutely loved this novella. It was like 76 pages, but I feel like it gave a really interesting image of what it would be like to have your mind fall apart. And my grandpa actually passed away. Anybody who watched my like I'm coming to booktube video, my grandpa passed away this summer, and he did not pass away from dementia, but by the time that it was that time, they diagnosed him with a type of Parkinson's and a type of dementia, and like by the end he just didn't know who anyone was. My mom's dad was also showing signs of dementia, but he passed away before it was like super progressed. But I felt like this really, I connected with it because of the memory loss issue and the fact that at the end my grandpa just, he didn't know who anyone was. It was really, really sad to watch, and this book just, it broke me. 76 pages and it just tore me apart. But the imagery that he writes about in this book, like I can imagine it in my head, and it makes sense when you think of like the memory loss disease. And I just felt like this book was really great. I'm not going to go into a big talking spiel, but this one I thought was especially good and I absolutely loved it. The next book I got by Frederick Bachmann is My Grandmother Sends Her Regards and Apologizes. I'm very excited to read this one. As far as I know, this one is about a girl whose grandmother passes away, and I think the girl finds a box of letters, and then I think she like tries to tie off her grandmother's loose ends. Not sure, haven't read this one, but I am so excited. Funny side story, I thought I had ordered this off of Abe Books. I waited for like a month and a half, and then I went into my Abe Books account thinking like, where the heck is that book? Usually they don't take quite this long. And I realized that I never actually checked out my order and the book was purchased by someone else. I am so excited to read this one. Thank you, Ashley, for fulfilling my hopes and dreams. Next, I'm gonna grab, sorry, I'm just like grabbing from beside me. The next book that I have here is Robin. This is a biography of Robin Williams. I have not read this yet, by Dave Itzkoff. I've heard good things about it. I don't know if, I haven't seen many people talk about it yet. I grew up watching Robin Williams, as I'm sure many of you did. I felt like he was just such a kind, loving person, and when he passed away, it was just so tragic and such a sad thing. I don't often cry when celebrities pass away. Like, usually it doesn't affect me that deeply, but Robin Williams was a really, really special person, and I loved so many of his movies, and I just felt like his personality, he was just a beautiful person, and I am looking forward to reading about it. And obviously I think this is going to be very sad because you're going to have to read about his heartbreak and his mental health problems and all of these things, but I feel like this will be a really interesting read and also a really sad read for someone who just left way too soon. Next, I have Kate Morton's The Clockmaker's Daughter, and This book was not good, guys. I don't even, like, it's in the haul because I bought it, but I would say don't waste your time and don't waste your money. I've heard great things about Kate Morton. My sister really enjoys her writing, and I am definitely willing to try other books. My sister has a couple that I plan on borrowing to, like, redeem her in my mind and heart, but this book was just bad. Like, it was just not a good book. There are a few books in this pile that I was gifted / given, and the first one I have here is The Red Sparrow by Jason Matthews. I did see the movie, and I really liked the movie, so I thought it'd be interesting to read the book, and then I was told that this is the second one, and I think there's actually a third as well. So if I like these two, I will eventually get my hands on the third. I think they're going to be pretty interesting. I keep trying, like, thrillers and mysteries, and I don't know if it's just not my genre or if I'm just picking bad ones, but I'm really hoping that I enjoy this. The next one that I have here is Stephen King's The Outsider. I have never read Stephen King, not a single word, not a single page. At some point, I do want to get to this because I'm really interested. I've never read Stephen King. My friend gave me this, and I definitely want to give it a try. Getting into historical fiction slash historical stuff, I guess. Next, I have We Were the Lucky Ones. Really looking forward to read this. This is a World War II historical fiction, and I believe we're following Jewish families who made it out alive at the end of the war, I think. The next one is also a historical fiction, but loosely based, I guess, on a true story, somewhat. The Tattooist of Auschwitz. This one, at first, all I heard were great things, and then now I've been hearing a lot of really good things, and then the odd bad thing. So I don't know if this is going to be like a middle of the road kind of book for me, but I really want to read it. I've heard of some people who really, really loved it and some people who it just wasn't their thing. So I definitely want to get to this one and figure out my own opinions. Next, I have A Secret Gift. This book I have not finished. I started it around Christmas time and I haven't picked it up since. Not because it's bad, not because I'm not enjoying it, but this one is nonfiction, and the way it's written, it kind of tells you a backstory of each family. So I do want to start picking it up and read like a chapter at a time and finish it. It's about a man who in, I believe it was 1933, during the Great Depression, someone happened to have money that they were willing to share, and he wanted to gift a bunch of families with, at the time, I think he was going to give, oh man, I can't even remember now. He was going to give a certain number of families each $10 at Christmas time, and he decided to double the amount of families and give every family $5. And back then, $5 was worth a lot of money. So I thought this is a really, really beautiful idea. The last one is another memoir / novella. It's not very big, by Marceline Lorden Ivens, But You Did Not Come Back. And as far as I know, this one is written from the perspective of someone who went through World War II. I believe she was Jewish, but I believe it's about how they made it through the war, but not as the person that they were. They definitely lost parts of themselves. I believe that's what it's about. I haven't read it yet. Super short. I do want to get to it soon though, because I love stories like that, especially true stories. Next, sorry, I'm like trying to rush through here. I got the first 2 books in the Outlander series. So I got Outlander by, I always want to say Diana Gabaldon, but everyone says Gabaldon. Correct me if I'm wrong on which one. I don't know. Tell me how to say her name, because I don't know how to say her name. But I got Outlander and Dragonfly in Amber. Have not read either of these. I decided to only get the first 2 because I think there's like 7 books. And I did not want to buy all 7 books in case it's not my thing. I liked the show. I watched the first 2 seasons and then I stopped watching because I decided I wanted to catch up on the books. And then because Murphy Napier, oh my goodness. Because Murphy Napier recommends this all the time, I decided to pick up The Outsiders. We've been kind of like talking back and forth, and she really thinks this will be up my alley, and I think it will be too based on what she said about it, so I'm really hoping that I will enjoy this. I decided, I don't know why, but I don't always like when the cover is just blank, so I did write on that part because the spine is gold. So if you ever see a picture of that, it didn't come like that. I wrote on it with a gold pen. But definitely looking forward to getting to this one at some point. If you guys saw my summer haul, I did buy Illuminae, and I also got OBSIDIO. I need to get Gemina. I know it's the middle book. I don't usually buy a full series, but if I start reading it and I want to just go right through, I want all 3 because I'm kind of weird like that. But if the series is super long, like Outlander, I'll slow down. Anyway, I did pick this up. It was on Book Outlet for like $8 the other day for a hardcover, so with shipping like $14, which is still pretty much half price. So I decided to just go ahead and grab it because I do want to get the third one. Another book that I grabbed was George R.R. Martin's Fire and Blood. I am rereading A Game of Thrones. I know this is set before, so I don't know if I will finish my reread before I get to this or if I'll pause, give this a read, and go back to the series. I was pretty mad when this one came out instead of the next Game of Thrones book. I don't know why I was expecting it. Everyone else has to wait like 20 years to finish the series. Why don't I too? But I did decide to pick it up because I do want to read it at some point, and this book is pretty cool. I don't usually buy like new releases because they're always way more expensive and you can't get them in paperback, but this book is pretty cool. It's very pretty, and I very much am excited to have it. Plus the cover's pretty stinking cool. I know it's been on my nightstand forever because it's just a good book to have there and it looks really pretty, but I do want to read it at some point. The last part of this haul is a stack of classics. I have started collecting classics because I do want to start reading more. When I was younger, I tried a couple and they really weren't my thing. And I don't know if it was just I didn't have the patience for it or didn't have the interest in it. I'm not sure what it was. I've always loved historical fiction, but I didn't necessarily have an interest for classics. I think a lot of it was just that it was written in like Old English and it was hard to digest, especially as a young kid. So as an adult, I really do want to get into classics. The first one that I have in the stack here is A Christmas Carol, which I bought for a readathon at Christmas time. I have seen this movie so many stinking times. I did like the book better, I think, than the movie. The movie has just never really been my thing, but I did enjoy the book, and I do think I will continue to read this each year at Christmas time to kind of get into the Christmas spirit. Next, I have Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen. Looking forward to reading this. I thought it was going to be, when I first got it, really uncomfortable to read, but you can actually open it up without busting the spine, and so it's actually fine. First, it felt really stiff. If you saw that little clip on Instagram that I put up a haul of this. It was creaking, it was making a lot of noise, but it's actually way more pliable once you bend the cover back and break it in a bit. But I'm definitely looking forward to reading this. I think this edition is really pretty. I'm pretty excited that I got it. I think these are the ones that are like only on Book Outlet. They have a whole set of classic books in, is this Paper Mill Press? So pretty. Next, I have Little Women by Louisa May Alcott. I don't really know what this is about. I feel like it's kind of like a slice of life, like where you're just like following a family, I think. But everybody really likes it, and I feel like people really tend to connect with at least a couple of characters in the book. I'm really interested to know what all the hype is about. I believe this is like the part 1 and part 2 because it's so hefty. It's like the bind up, I think, that most people have. Anyway, I bought this. It was a cover buy. I thought it was so pretty, so I picked up this particular edition. And then from Abe Books, I got this for like $5, and I'm so excited about it. It is Rebecca by Daphne du Maurier, and also a recommendation from Murphy Napier. This is, as far as I know, like a classic domestic thriller, I think. Maybe a psychological thriller. I'm not exactly sure what the definitions are supposed to be. Anyway, I did pick up this edition. It is, what is the publisher? Heron Books, and I just think that I have at least one other one, I think, up there on the shelf, and their editions are just so pretty with the like leather cover and the like gilded edges and stuff. I just think this is beautiful, and I can't believe it was in such good condition for like $5. That's pretty awesome. My mother-in-law gave me Uncle Tom's Cabin. She bought this, I think she said back in, like, when did she get it? 2006, so like 12 years ago. And she attempted to read it, but she just couldn't get through it. Apparently it's very graphic and very sad. It is based in 1852 pre-Civil War South. I don't really know anything about this, but I am very keen to read about it. I think it'll be a really interesting story. Apparently it caused quite a commotion back in its day, so I'm definitely looking forward to reading Uncle Tom's Cabin. And another Murphy recommendation, because I feel like she's one of the people who's closest in taste to me. Like, I feel like I'm the most keen on her book recommendations, and I tend to like the things that she likes. So that's why I pick up a lot of books that she recommends, because we, like, if you were to draw circles, we have quite an overlap, I think. So the next book that I have here is The Picture of Dorian Gray by Oscar Wilde. This will be really fun, I think, to read. Like I said, I'm getting way more into classics these days. I feel like I have more patience for it, not necessarily more time, but more patience to put into it to ingest the story and appreciate the writing. This did not come with black edges. If you guys saw on Instagram, I posted a couple times, but I did paint a bunch of the edges of a bunch of my books because I just think it looks pretty. I didn't do every single one, but I definitely did do a couple, and I think this one's really neat. And last but not least, in this stack, I got The Secret Garden by, oh my goodness, it doesn't even say on the front. Who's this by? Frances Hodgson Burnett. It's not on the front. That is so weird. I got this off of, I think, Book Outlet, and I just thought this edition was so pretty. This is one of the few classics that I read as a kid. I don't really remember it, but I do remember enjoying it. So I decided to pick up an illustrated edition, and I will just find. The illustrations are really neat. And this, obviously, I couldn't see them before I bought it, but it was like $8, and the cover was so pretty, I decided I would get it and see what kind of pictures they had inside. Even the, I can't think of what these are called, but like the front pages are just so cool, and the back, so neat. I hope you guys enjoyed that. If you have any on here that you've read, that you absolutely loved, that you think I should get to soon, comment down below and let me know. Don't tell me that any of them suck, because I need to read them because I bought them, and that's just how it goes. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell, and I will talk to you all soon. Thanks so much for watching. Bye! Don't talk about me when I'm gone. Oh honey, though our friendship ceases from now on. If you can't say